Hi everyone. In this lab, we will do site-to-site VPN. Site-to-site VPN connection. Basically, if you want all your data center to be a part of Azure, for that we call something site-to-site. Well, I don't have the Cisco or anything implemented in my current environment, but what I can do is mimic that by using a virtual machine instead. So I'll create two virtual machines, one to act as in on-prem data center and the other one to be in Azure. So to do that, I'll create first a virtual machine. I'll maybe have Windows Server 2016 data center. I'll choose my resource group. I'll say on-prem VM. On-prem VM. I'll choose any region. I'll this time choosing maybe Central India maybe. No infrastructure needed, that's okay. Just enter the username. I'll make sure I allow the HTTPS and RDP 3389. I'll go to the next disk, is fine, networking is okay. I can create a new network and maybe give it the same name maybe. So I can say on-prem VNet, and I can give it a bigger space maybe, and subnet I can say subnet 1, and I can give it maybe 10.0.0.0/24. Okay, all good. Hit on OK. Everything is same. I'll just do review and create. Okay, I'll create the virtual machine. Now wait till it finishes. While this machine is in progress, what we can do is create another machine which will act as in staging VM network, the one we want to connect it with. So if I go virtual machine, go on add, again choose my resource group. I can name it staging VM. This time I can choose a different region, maybe I can choose UK South. No infrastructures, okay, I'll choose Windows 2016. Username, same. Test user. Okay, I'll make sure I allow the port AE. Go to the next disk, same everything, network. I will create a new network here, making sure that the one we want to connect it with, so basically on-prem to the site-to-site. So I'll go ahead and create. I can call this one staging VNet. I can change the address space, making sure that the CIDR don't conflict with the other one, don't overlap with the other one. So we'll just choose 20 and make it a bigger range by maybe doing 16, and then we can call it default, and same 20.0.0/24. Okay, just everything is okay, and then hit on OK. Okay, now the review and create, and we wait for this machine to be finished. The process. Okay, both machines are in process, but what I want to do is I want to go back to mains, first on-prem VM, and I want to connect and install Internet Information Services in that, just to make sure that I'll be able to get access on this one. Okay. Okay, gonna add roles and feature. Next. 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 Choose the web server. Internet information services. Add feature. Go next. 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 And install. So this will take some time to install. Oh, I'd also want to install Internet Information Services on the staging VM as well, the one we would be connecting to. So where is the staging VM? It's completed now. Go create an RDP connection. Download the RDP file. It's not really important to have Internet Information Services on-prem, but it's really important to have that in your staging because we are connecting with the staging VM basically. So this one is the important one. I'm doing it in both just to make sure that I can see Internet Information Services. Okay, do the same steps again. We go to add roles and features. Go to next, next, next. Go to Internet Information Services, add features, next, 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 install. Okay, so this will now install Internet Information Services. So while it's doing that, what I want to do is I want to set an inbound rule to get the RDP access to port 80. So go to add inbound port rule. I want the destination port range to port 80, TCP, and it's port 80, and I'll allow it. So let's see if the Internet Information Services are completed or not. So if I go to my staging VM, go to overview, select the public IP, and let's see if we have that installed or not. Yeah, we have that installed. So now what? Because we are testing that if can we get access from on-prem to our staging VM, the data center. Now we don't need the public IP anymore of this virtual machine. So we can go to the networking, go to the staging VM interface card, go to IP configuration, go to IP config 1, and now disassociate your public IP, because now we won't need a public IP because we will be using our on-prem machine to access this staging VM. So hit on save. So now the public IP address has been disabled. Let's go and check if it's actually disabled. So if I go to overview, there is no public IP. So basically there is no way we can access to this staging VM at the moment. So we want to create a connection between our on-prem to this machine. So the next step to do is to create a gateway subnet. So to do that, we'll go to our virtual network, go to the subnet, and then hit on gateway subnet. Leave the address space as is, and you can see it has its own name, basically gateway subnet. So we'll just hit on save. It is very important to create a gateway subnet in order to create a connection from your on-prem to your Azure. So hit on save. Okay, so this one is done. So the next step we have to do is create a resource local network gateway, which will act as in our routing device. So to do that, search for local network gateway, hit on add, Okay, give it a name, anything, maybe local gateway. We have to give the IP address, but IP address of what? So if you look at it, the public IP address of your local gateway. So basically the one we want to connect it with. So if we go here, if we come back to our virtual machine we would need to take a public IP of our on-prem machine. So hit paste here, and we need an address space basically. So do you remember we created an address space of our virtual machine? So again, we can get the address space. Okay. So if you go to the networking, okay. Sorry. If you go to the on-prem, and then if you go to the address space, this was the address space we used for our VNet. So just copy this one. Okay. Now that's okay. Now select my resource group. Here in location where my machine is, the one which I want to connect it. That's I believe it's in UK South. I will have to check it again. Yes, it is in UK South. So hit on create. Now I've got local gateway here. You can see it's there now, which will act as another routing device. Now we need to create something called virtual network gateway in order to access to the staging VM. So again, virtual network gateway, hit on add. So let's do it. So maybe just say gateway. Make sure that it's in the UK South because our staging the on Azure VM is in UK South. So if it just says UK South, just make sure. Gateway type is fine. VPN type is okay. cisco is for okay for now. Generation is okay. Virtual network is the one we have for the staging. It is staging VNet. This will automatically select the subnet VNet. We need to create a public IP. If you remember, we removed the public IP from the staging VM because in order to make a connection from on-prem to our staging, we need a public IP basically. This will act as a traffic for us, like a transport for us. So we will just say stg staging IP, leave everything the same, go to on tags, go to review and create. Okay, hit on review and create. Right now it's 8:43. This could take from 20 minutes to 45 minutes. So we'll have to wait till it finishes. Okay, so now our gateway is in place now. So what we have to do is go to the connections. So if you remember that we have created our gateway subnet, and then we created our local network gateway, and then we added public IP and the address space of our on-premises one, and then put a region for a UK South where we want it to be. So now what we have to do is click on add. Here we want to give it a name, say connection gateway or whatever you want to give the name, and this one we want site by site basically, and virtual network gateway it has automatically selected, but yeah, this is our local gateway, the one we created, so you can already see a relationship. And here we can give it a shared key which we will need when we go to our on-prem machine. So if we go here, we can say ABC123, doesn't really matter, whichever you want to give, and leave the rest setting I believe the same. So let's press OK, and now it's creating a connection basically now between our on-prem to Azure staging VM. So now we have created a connection between two of them, but we have to do some more installation and configuration in our on-prem.
Now once I've logged into that on-premise virtual machine,
so to do that,
I'm going to go on to add roles and features. So I'll go on to next, go on to next.
what I want to do is log inside my on-prem VM. If that's the on-prem VM, I close it, just wanted to show you again how to do it. So download RDP. So now, if you remember the way we install our Internet Information Services, we will install our routing services. So the same way, you go to Add Roles and Features, go to Next, Next, Next. Here you choose Remote Access. Hit on Next, Next, Next. You want to make sure it's the routing one, the one we want. So you click on Add Feature, click on Next and Install. And now we have to wait for a bit. Okay, this one has now completed. Let's see if it's completed. So if you go here, this is the one we just installed, I believe. So if you open that, that's done. Now we have this screen displayed. You can just, when you go there, you can select it and do the open visit. It will open up. So here we have configure remote access. What we want to do is deploy VPN only. Okay, and now you can see we have our on-prem local. So right click on that and say configure and enable routing and remote access. Okay, hit on next. You want to do custom configuration, hit on next. You want to do your LAN routing and demand dial connection. If you remember, we have our shared ABC123 key. Okay, I'll do finish. Remote access is unable. Why is that? I will just press OK. So it says you have successfully completed. Let's wait what it will show. Okay, yeah, it is fine. Just do start devices. And I'll wait. Okay, so now we have this in place. What I want to do is create an new demand dial interface. So if I go to next, I will give it name maybe Azure. Hit on next. Connect using virtual private networking VPN. Yeah, that's what we want. Hit on next. We want ICAV2, the shared key which we used. So let's go next. And so now it's asking me for a host name or IP address. So to do that, to get the public IP, we have to get that from our virtual network gateways, the one we created, because this one comes with the IP address. So I'll just copy this one. Say copy, go back to here, and then you just paste it in here. Go to next. Okay. This is fine. We will keep route IP packets on this interface. Hit on next. Here we have to add the destination, I believe. So here this will ask us the destination of our staging VM machine. So if you don't remember, what you can do is go back to your virtual machine. This is our staging VM. And if you go to the networking, overview, my bad. So this is our address space. So the one I put is 20.1, so 20.1.0.016. So if I go back here, I can enter 20.1.0.0. Oh, sorry, I meant to write 0. Okay. Because if you remember, it was /16, so basically it's only 2 network hosts are used, like 16 bits. So it's basically 255, 255, and then same 0, and then same 0, and then our metric is 16. Okay. Okay, so just okay, hit on next, and just say finish. So now we go to the interface we created here. So if we right click on that, go to the properties, go to the security, and then here we use the pre-shade key, the one which we set. So that was A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, and hit on OK. And now comes the hard part. Let's see if all the configuration is all good. Let's do connect, and let's see if it will connect. So demand dial, enable. I'll just expand it. So here you see it says connected now. So it is, the connection is successful. So now, as you can see, it's connected, but if you want to confirm that we actually made a connection, this is an on-prem VM. What we can do is go to our staging VM. This is our virtual machine. This is our staging VM. And here we take the private IP address of our staging VM and go back to our on-prem VM, and we want to see if we can create a connection basically. So let's see if it worked or not. So here we become HTTP, and then no, that was not the IP address, I believe. I don't even know if I copied it. Have I? I believe I did. 20.1.2104, okay. Hit enter. Yep, we are able to get access to our Azure VM. So we have created a successful connection between our Azure staging VM to our on-prem, or on-prem to Azure VM basically. So that was a quite long exercise, but hopefully you remember that. I think if you do a couple of times the practice, it'll be easy to do. I did the same and it took me some time, but now I know how it works. So yeah, thank you for watching the video.